welcome to a special edition of the Fireside Chat. We are recording the day before, and so we are going to be putting this up on Wednesday, the day of our typical Fireside Chat. Please don't think that because we are not going live that we don't want your questions. We absolutely do. Typically, you have the opportunity to put those comments and questions in the comment section, and we will get to them. We will be watching that comment section for the next couple of days. So if you have any questions about anything that we are talking about today, we absolutely want to hear them. Today, we are talking about the PMFRC's new strategic plan, our new mission and our vision. And we are very excited to have Michelle Chedda here. Michelle is on our PMFRC Board of Directors, and she has been on our Board of Directors since 2015. So she has a long history with the organization and has been involved in this process on a number of occasions, so has a lot of really great insight to share. We also have Claudia Beswick joining us, the Executive Director of the PMFRC. Before we start, I just want to let you know we are going to be talking about some of the pages on our website. We are going to be talking about different links and different things that you can go to. We are going to share all of that in the comment section. So if there's anything that we talk about and you weren't entirely sure where you find them, just check the comment section below and that will be all be there for you. Claudia, we start these off talking about the business resumption plan, talking about how things are going in the time of COVID, where we stand and what services are available. Do you want to give us an update of where we are?
Yes, so again, our Northside office at 1016 Rigobudo is open for services, and Natasha Nangel, our information service assistants, will be happy to answer any questions or provide any information that you're looking for. So please don't hesitate to pop in or give us a call. Our employment office in Petawawa is also open by appointment, as is the satellite office in Deep Rivers. So that opened up this week, I believe. If you'd like to see one of the coaches, if you want to work on your resume or just look for information about jobs, give them a call and they will set up a time for you to go and sit with one of the coaches. And also be sure to check out the website because you can browse for jobs and look at some of the interesting workshops that they have coming up. Parcels and packages going out to the deployed members can be dropped off at the Northside office. That's quite popular these days. We are continuing with the touchless drop-off. So there is a trolley just outside of the exit door on the ramp, and you can drop your parcel off there. There's also some paper if you need to pick up some extra wrapping paper for your next round of parcels. But that it doesn't mean that you can't go inside. If you have some questions or prefer to take your parcel inside, you can do that as well. The one thing that we are asking is if all families can put phone numbers on the parcels. That way, if there is any questions about the parcels or if the post office needs more information, then we have a way to reach you so we can ensure that the parcels get shipped off in a timely manner. If you are new to Petawawa, don't hesitate to stop in and see us or give us a call. Again, the information services team would be happy to set up an appointment and do a personal one-on-one welcome session with you. Sometimes that is a little bit more helpful because it's more fine-tuned for your family and things that you are looking for. So reach out and let us know if you are new to Petawawa. We'd be happy to help however we can and get you guys situated into your new environment. Very happy to report that Kitty College is now open. It opened up this week on Monday. Everybody is excited about that. Just like all of our other daycare programs, we're following all the proper rules and regulations that the health unit requires. So it does look a little bit different, but it is open and kids are happy. And I think we're off to a good start with that program. If you are coming into any of the locations that in the building that is open, then remember that you need to wear your mask. You need to complete the screening form and provide us with a contact number for a contact tracing form. That's a requirement in all buildings that you're coming into. We're still not able to do in-person activities right now. The staff are continuing to work from home, between home and their office. Programs will remain virtually for a while, for a little bit longer yet, but stay tuned for some really new, great, exciting programs that are coming your way, and you can check that all out on the websites. Finally, really happy to report that porch pickups are going to start again. Staff have been extremely excited and busy trying to get all of this scheduled and up and ready for next week. So Julie, how about you add a little bit more information about that? Because I know that's something you've been working hard on with your team.
So porch pickups are going to resume on March the 10th. There are a number of programs that are going to have different packages that are available. There's only certain programs that will have the packages at each day. So we will let you know when those when you are to be picking things up. We will ask you if you could sort of specify a time between morning and afternoon, and that's just going to allow us to schedule the appointments a little bit. We want to make sure that people aren't forced to wait outside. It's a small area, and we don't want to crowd people in that area. So to avoid having to wait outside, we're trying to space those as much as possible. The porch pickups are going to be happening at the Southside Community Center. That's at 1578 Wolf Avenue. When we're going to be using the side door, we are going to have a sign that's nice and clear. And when we schedule those porch drop-offs with you, we will remind you of that. So if there's anything else that you have any questions about, call that main number and talk to Angel and Natasha, and they can give you the more details. The other thing that I want to mention when Claudia was talking about the Welcome to Petawawa sessions, if you are not new to Petawawa, but you are going to be new soon, or Petawawa is in your future and there is a posting message that's circulating about and you just want more information about the community before you get here, absolutely give us a call. We would love to be able to walk you through that, maybe that answer some of the questions that you have and bring down some of your family anxiety. Sometimes it's a little easier to cope with change when you have those questions answered. So reach out, even if a posting's in your future and you just want to find out a little bit more about where you're heading. It's a great place to live. So let's start talking about the strategic plan. We've invited Michelle here. Like I said, Michelle's been on the board since 2015. So she has a lot of experience on the board and can give a lot of insight on where we came from. But let's just start with the basic question. A lot of people know we have a board, but don't necessarily know who's on it or what a board of directors would do for an agency like the PMFRC. Can you sort of give us a little bit of a background about who is on the board and what you do?
Yes, I can. So thank you, Julie and Claudia, for having me today. So the PMFRC Board of Directors is a volunteer board. It's comprised of at least 51% of military family members. This is actually stated directly within our bylaws. It's to ensure there is a voice for the military family community in which we live and serve. So we do meet monthly. Typically it is in person, but due to COVID and adhering to strict guidelines, we're meeting over Zoom. And the board meets to ensure that the board's strategic direction and its organizational priorities are actually being followed and carried out. And they're being met and fulfilled through the day-to-day operations that are actually carried out by Claudia and her amazing team. We also provide governance and strategic oversight, as well as financial oversight and accountability.
That's great. You talked about strategic oversight and strategic plan. The reason that we are here today is to talk about the new strategic plan. But before we launch into what that is, there is a process that you guys have gone through to develop the new strategic plan. Claudia, do you want to talk about sort of how this all came about and the process that went into creating the new strategic plan?
So the purpose of the strategic plan, it is something that we're required to do every 3 to 5 years. This is normal for nonprofit organizations. It really determines what the objectives are and what we're trying to achieve, right, with our strategic plan. So essentially, that includes things like reviewing the previous year's strategic plan. So again, like I said, it's a 3 to 5 year period. So we go back to the last one and we see what have we accomplished? Is there anything that's outstanding? Do we need to work a little bit harder on something? We get input from all of our stakeholders. So the stakeholders are the garrison, the military partners, PSP, health promotions, our school board, the community partners, our families, our volunteers, our staff, and our board members. And so we always, we look at examining what our strengths are, what our challenges are, what our opportunities are, the normal SWOT analysis that I think a lot of people are familiar with. We consider what the issues and trends and what our current situation is. Now, remember that we were starting the strategic planning process in January of 2020. Michelle, I believe that was it. So that was all before COVID. So a lot of the stuff, all of our focus groups and everything that we were doing happened way back in January. And then, of course, by the time you get through everything and correlate the information and the board have their meeting, and then we had COVID. So we're a little bit behind on our timeline, but nonetheless, I think we have a very solid strategic plan. And, you know, we review our mission and our vision and our guiding values to determine what our strategic priorities are that will take us over the next 3 to 5 years. And in order for us to ensure that we engage with the stakeholders, we really need to get meaningful feedback. And so for each individual group of stakeholders, we held a focus group, and we had some pretty consistent questions to ask them, learning about what was working in our collaboration, what wasn't working, how could we improve. Again, you know, the partners, we did that whole SWOT analysis, and we did an environmental scan because there are some local challenges that military families have, being just in Petawawa. And we determined what the key priorities are that the board would focus on. So once all that information is processed, reviewed by the staff, by the management team, and by the board, then priorities are finalized with goals and objectives that the board determines what that are. That takes us through the next process. So specifically with this strategic planning session, it meant revising our mission and vision and guiding values, determining what the high-level goals are. And then those high-level goals are given to me as the executive director, and then I work with the team to outline what the action plans, timelines, and what the key performance indicators are on that front. So it is a bit of a process, and we did hire an external party who has experience in guiding us through strategic planning, but it was a lot of effort from the board and from the staff and from the stakeholders, and I think everybody is quite proud of the end result.
So speaking of the end result, Michelle, we're going to ask you to sort of bring us through what the new strategic plan is. I am going to share my screen just to give this so we can put it up on the screen while you're talking, and so people can take a look at it while you are chatting. So here it is.
Okay, so the board actually established a new vision and mission statement. Our vision statement is a strong, capable, connected military community. And our new mission is to provide exceptional support to our military families and surrounding communities. So we wanted to be as inclusive as possible in all of the process. That's what Claudia was mentioning in terms of gathering everyone's feedback as best we could. And one thing for the vision, we actually did do a change. So we took out the word resilient, just based on the fact that the feedback was sort of divided, and it felt like it was no longer really a word that was valid or current, relevant to the community in which we live and serve. And the other thing is, for our mission statement, we decided to add surrounding communities just to make sure that recognizing, that the PMFRC also provides programs and services to members of the public that are outside of our military family and community. And as you go down, we also have new guiding values. So the guiding values are the fundamental beliefs of the PMFRC. We actually narrowed our list down quite significantly, down from 9 to 4. And they are integrity, inclusion, safety, and outreach. And I think in terms of safety, that's going to be employee and client safety, yeah. And outreach meaning community outreach, just to make sure that it's clear. So again, the board narrowed that list down and really wanted to listen to the feedback that some of the values that we had on our previous list were saying a lot of the same things. We just wanted to make sure that we had something that was clear, concise, and strong, and that would act as a guide and would be able to be carried out daily. And just if you can go on to the strategic pillars.
Absolutely.
So we did actually set 3 new strategic priorities. And again, we moved from 5 to 3. So our new pillars are innovation, communication, community-centered, and community-centered approach. And we really wanted to identify the key priorities for over the course of the next 3 years. And as Claudia mentioned, we went back, we did a review to ensure that they were still relevant and took into account the current worldview to ensure that our goals and objectives were still valid post-COVID. And so in other words, collectively, we chose strategic imperatives so that would hopefully meet the current and relevant needs of our military families and communities, and the demands of our military families, sorry. And as well as to achieve our overall vision of a strong, capable, connected military family.
Perfect, thank you. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen so we can all pop back again. Claudia, you touched on this earlier, that it's up to the executive director to take this strategic plan that the board has come up with and boil it down and make it happen on a day-to-day basis. Can you talk a little bit more about that, how that happens, and what your next steps are now that you have these guiding values, the mission, the vision, and those pillars that you want to sort of operate with?
So with the mission and vision, we integrate that into everything that we do within the organization. So you'll see that on the website. You'll see that when we do our orientation, or when we do our welcome, or any of those branding pieces when we are ready to go back to our in-person activities. You'll see a lot of the mission, vision, and the guiding values posted everywhere. And I think, you know, Michelle saying that they're the guiding values, it was quite an interesting conversation, because I was able to participate on the staff side and on the board side. And it's the concept was the same. Let's have meaningful guiding values. It wasn't necessarily about how many guiding values, but what does it mean to the organization as a whole. So we keep that ingrained in all of the activities and programs that we are providing to the community. So now that the board's determined what those high-level goals are, we create an operational plan. And that operational plan really identifies the process and the actions and the resources required to offer the programs, the workshops, the activities that each department will go about organizing. So the operational plan really is a document that gives the board a clear picture of the priorities and what's been achieved, but it also helps the staff to focus on how to guide and direct their workshops and their activities, and to ensure that whatever they're planning meet the objectives and the high level goals of those strategic priorities. So everything goes back to those strategic priorities. There's a shared understanding of our priorities. It's not an exhaustive list of everything that we do. We are always very flexible and adaptable to what programming needs are, or what our limitations are. Sometimes we want to do something and we just can't. This pandemic is a really good example of that. Sometimes it could be a funding limitation. Sometimes it could be an accessibility limitation. Like, there's things that that we want to do that sometimes are beyond our ability. But then there's other times where something comes up and we think, hey, we can do something about that. If we know that there is an element of mental health supports required, we can adapt and put a program in place to respond to that. So, you know, I really like to think that the team are always really responsive to what the community would like to see from us. Part of our job as well is to strengthen our engagement with our stakeholders. So we work within the community to raise awareness about all the types of services and programs that we provide the military families. And in turn, we find out about what the local programs and services are that military families can easily access for themselves. And so where we can, we collaborate. No one organization can do it alone. We've heard that mantra before. And we really believe that no door is the wrong door for a military family to access. So for those that, you know, have really joined us on a lot of the fireside chats, you know, I'm always talking about feedback and asking the families for what they want to see, what's working for them, what's not. It's really important for us to listen. And I really feel that the staff is good at doing that. We track all of the new programs that we start or we initiate because we've gotten that feedback from the family. And I think that's really important. You know, and every quarter I do an update on the operational plan and I present that to the board. And this is, you know, clearly where it shows, are we on track? Are we meeting the objectives? Where have we had to adjust a little bit here and there? But it really is, you know, feedback and information and getting that engagement from everybody is really the baseline of everything we do, and it's our starting point.
Claudia was talking a little bit about, about feedback and how it's important. Do you want to talk about how the board feels about feedback and how you use feedback as a board to take to sort of do your jobs?
So what it does, it's really in terms of accountability. So it's ensuring that, as I mentioned, that the day-to-day operations, everything is going smoothly. Our clients, our stakeholders, everybody is happy, and that includes our members, outside members of the public as well. We really want to ensure that our mission statement is carried out and that those guiding values are there as well. We want to make sure that all of the needs and supports and services that Claudia and her staff require, but we can also make sure that happens as well. We want to make sure that the programs and services meet everybody's needs. As mentioned, we added inclusion into our guiding values. That is a big component for us. We always welcome feedback. If they want to give us feedback, they can actually visit the calfconnection.ca/Petawawa website, which Julie has added in the comments box. And they can reach out to the PMFRC, use it and give us general feedback form, or email the PMFRC directly. Claudia is happy to provide us with that information. There's also a complaints registry that's found on the site as well. And we always want to make sure that we can collaborate and find the most effective and meaningful solution to everyone's problems and meet everyone's needs as best as we can.
And in regular times when we have events like Garrison Day and Open House, the board always attends, and they are at the welcome tables, and they really encourage you to come up and talk to them about what your experiences in Petawawa, what you would like to see, what you like, what you think could use a little bit of help or a little bit of assistance, or what you liked in other areas that you'd like to see here. So if you have that kind of feedback, that when we return in regular life, and we are all there, please don't be shy about coming and sharing that kind of information. We don't take it personally. We're not offended. We really want to hear from you and hear what you need.
Julie, before you go on, I just want to add to what Michelle was saying. You know, the feedback from the community is just one aspect of that. They are really good at the whole 360 piece. You know, if they listen to the staff feedback, you know, if there's challenges or concerns, even at the staff level, they're open to hearing what that is from the community or even from the stakeholders. If the stakeholders would like to see us do something different or take on new initiatives, then they'll approach us and ask. And so I think that's really critical within the structure of how the board listens to the feedback and actions on it. They may not always do what they can for their various reasons, but they'll always state why. And what some of those barriers are. So I think it's just important to identify this whole 360 view of the board's impact on feedback from everybody.
Perfect. Thank you all for joining us. For those of you who are interested in learning more about the Board of Directors, we do have a page on our CAF Connection site that talks about the board, that has profiles of all of our board members, so you can put some names and faces together. You may even know someone who is on our board and you don't even know it. So that's all going to be in the comment section. Also, you can take a look if you want to scroll back and see some of the annual reports from previous years and some of the other documents that the board has put together. All that information is there. So CAF Connection, take a look. Thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you taking the time to hear about our strategic plan. We are very excited about what's on the horizon, and we look forward to seeing you at our next fireside chat. Thanks and have a great evening.